As around the sun, the earth no ceases revolving, and the rosebuds know the bloom in early May. Just as hate knows love's the cure, you can rest your mind assured that I'll be loving you always. As now can't reveal the mystery of tomorrow, but in passing we'll grow older every day. All this one is true, you know what I say is true, that I'll be loving you always. Until the rainbow finds a star in the sky. Always. Until the ocean covers everybody. Always. Until the ocean rises everything I see. Always. Did you know that true love asks for nothing? Acceptance is the way we pay. Did you know that life is giving love a guarantee to last forever another day? Just as time knew to move on since the beginning, and the seasons know exactly when to change. Just as kindness knows no shame, knows before your joy and pain, I'll be loving you always. As today I know I'm living, but tomorrow would make me the past, but that I mustn't fear. For I'll know deep in my mind the love of me I've left behind, as I'll be loving you always. Until the day is night and night. Always. Until the season ceases, fly away. Always. Until the day that is complete is for. Always. Until the day that is complete that I know for. Did you know you love by somebody? Always. I'll be loving you forever. Always. Until the day that you are being loved. Always. We all know sometimes life is in trouble. Can make you wish you were born in another time and space. But you can bet your lifetime having twice as double. If God knew exactly where He wanted you to be placed. So make sure when you say you're in it, but not of it. You're not helping Jimmy get to the place sometimes called hell. Change your words into truth and then change that truth into love. And maybe our children, grandchildren, and their great-grandchildren will tell. I'll be loving you until the rainbow comes down in the sky. Loving you until the ocean covers every mountain. Loving you until the dolphins rise and kindness live the sea. Loving you until we dream of life and life becomes a dream. And loving you until the day is night and night becomes the day. Loving you until the trees and seas turn up and fly away. Loving you until the day that ain't time to Loving you until the day that is the day that I know more. Loving you until the day the earth has turned and right to left. And loving you until the earth just falls apart behind myself. Loving you just from the nature to the world through. Loving you until the day that you are me and I am you. That ain't that loving you. Hey, and then loving you. And I've got to say always. Always. Until the dream of life and life becomes a dream. Until the day is night and night becomes a day. Until the dream can see just up and fly away. Until the day that you are here and I am you. Until the rainbow finds the star out in the sky. Until the ocean covers and I can fly. Until the open finds the heavens live on sea. Until we dream of life and life becomes a dream. Until the day is night and night becomes a day. Until the dream that seems to something fly away. Until the day that he comes into his full. Until the day that is the day that I know more. Until the day the earth starts moving like a river. Until the earth gets smaller than I say. Until the mother nature says the work is through. Until the day that you are me. I love that song. All right. So chapter 5, The Great Escape. In chapter 4, she went to go live with her father and she was raped. Okay. I had to move to Scottsdale, a suburb of Phoenix, in January of 1994. And by the summer of 1995, I was ready to be on my own. My father lived well, and for the first time, I was able to do things like go to the mall and actually shop. I was allowed to have friends and boyfriends over, and my dad was cool with everyone. I was free. There was no drama, except every once in a while, I would get grounded for staying out past curfew. I didn't mind that because the punishment was well deserved, and it never lasted too long. Not to mention that it was a lot better than being beaten. All of my friends came from wealthy households and were afforded the same privileges as me. We spent the scorching Arizona summers poolside at my house, barbecuing and listening to music. This was the life, and I was being spoiled. But the good times didn't last for long. My father married his live in girlfriend, Michelle, not long after I moved in. Less than a year later, my little sister, Katie, was born. Soon after that, my father's only son, Kenneth Jr., moved in with us from Maryland. My father had four other children, including Tony and Jennifer, who had all previously lived in different states. My mother, I'm so sorry, my father's mother, Merle, I believe that's the name, Merle, or whatever, also lived at the house. It went from just me and my father to all of these people who, while they were related to me, were nonetheless strangers. My dad became stressed, and my stepmother had problems adjusting to being a new mother. I spent most of my time taking care of the newest addition to our family, while Michelle worked her way through her issues. She would stay locked in the bedroom a lot. And I remember my father not handling it very well.
Soon there were screaming matches between Michelle and my father. His attitude began to change and he started treating me differently. I no longer had the freedom to do the things I had only just begun to enjoy. And even the simplest things like getting my nails done and now become an issue. Not surprisingly, money had become tight for my father, who was now responsible for a house full of people. The majority of my allowance was cut off, and he was either unable or unwilling to do the things for me he had done when I first come to live with him. As my father and Michelle argued, my grandmother often got into the middle, frustrated with all of the fighting. It became too much for me, regardless of how well I'd been living. I was still very fragile. Although I had become accustomed to the good life, I still carried traces of my old life with me. During the summer after the 11th grade, I shoved a I shoved a few belongings into a hefty bag, pocketed the $36.57 I had been saving, called a cab, and sneaked out of my bedroom window. Snuck. It should be snuck. Snuck. Oh God. I had been called a cab and sneaked out of my bedroom window. I want to say snuck. Okay, but anyway. So anyway, we're all allowed to make mistakes in books and articles and a whole bunch of other stuff. And so I know Coco probably noticed it too, but you could just tell she wrote the book and just by herself. I don't think it was whatever. I don't have an editor either, so we all make mistakes, but it's bothering me. So it's snuck. But anyway, I threw the bag over the 6 foot high concrete wall around our home and hosted myself over it, being careful not to jump into the cacti that lined the other side of the wall. And just like that, I was gone again. The only plan I had was to get to a friend's apartment and to stay there for the night. I would figure out the rest in the morning. It was such a crazy time for me. I don't remember much about where I was and what I did as I moved from place to place with friends and even strangers. I do remember feeling the way I felt living with my mother in Tampa Bay. I would much rather have been on the streets as a derelict than to feel like I was in the way. I had a boyfriend, Reggie, who was there for me. He had been on his own since he was 16, and his mother lived in New York, where he grew up. He and his mother had moved to Phoenix years before, but when she went back to New York, Reggie opted to stay. He was my high school love, and we spent every weekend and holiday break together. He didn't attend school and was essentially a hustler who lived in a bad neighborhood. I loved the excitement of knowing that I was with a bad boy, and on many occasions would be both thrilled and terrified at hearing the gunshots outside. Around the time that I left home, Reggie's mom came to visit. I was instantly drawn to her. She was pretty and funny and treated both me and Reggie as if we were adults. I moved in with Reggie and his mother, and her visit ended up being permanent. After hanging out with her for a while, she and I became friends. She said she knew a way I could make money to support myself now that I was a woman out on my own. I looked up to her and was happy to take her advice. It's funny how I had so much admiration for her as a girl at 16, but I cannot remember her name now. Reggie's mom was a dancer at an all nude exotic dance club. Without asking for credentials, the managers allowed me to work there right away. The room was dark, except for the stage, and was packed with patrons their faces masked by cigarette smoke. As my turn approached, I was nervous. My heart was beating so fast and so loud that I could not hear the music over its thumping. I tried to tune it out. I had to do it. I had to make it on my own. I went backstage to change into my outfit. It was a white bikini with a matching sheer long robe. The outfit came highly recommended from Reggie's mom, since white glowed in the dark under the club's black lights. The song I chose for my very first dance was Come Down by Bush. The chorus blared from the speakers. I don't want to come back down from this cloud. It's taken all this time to find out what I need. I would dance to come down every night as my first dance. In the moments just before I made my debut, Yzette Santiago, my alter ego, was born. In order to get up on that stage every night and dance like I loved and meant it, I needed to put forth the persona of a fearless woman. So the scared little girl who felt unworthy, unattractive, and unwanted was gone. In her place was Yzette, a woman child who was everything Karrine wanted to be: beautiful, sexy, confident, and independent. When I took those first couple of steps that led to the stage and the spotlight hit my body, the crowd began to cheer. It is all a blank. I performed without thought, and movement came naturally to me. I got through it. I don't know what I did or how I did it, but whatever I did was good enough for the crowd. They went wild. The next thing I remember is holding all of my money and making my way off stage. Reggie's mother was there, waiting with open arms. You did so good, baby girl, she said. You were beautiful out there, and they love you. Now hurry up, count your money, and get back out there. And that's what I did, night after night. Every night I was pulling down $1,000 at the club. I was doing well, but my relationship with Reggie's mother turned sour. She was in her mid 30s at the time, and it seemed as if her heyday was over. Mine at 17 was just beginning. When she found out I was making substantially more money than her, she didn't like it. She began to take advantage of me and started charging me ridiculous amounts of rent and would even demand that I buy her things. Our friendly relationship turned into a jealous competition, and I was soon on the road again. On December the 26th, 1995, I had been shopping at the mall, taking advantage of the post Christmas sales and getting my nails done, when I received a call from an associate at another local strip club, an upscale place that most of the NFL and NBA players in Phoenix frequently hung. I had already dated one or two players from the Arizona Cardinals and was enjoying my run as one of the most popular dancers in the city. I was a center attraction, a main feature at the club. Your worth as a dancer is measured by how well you are able to hang upside down and spin from atop the 10-foot pole. It was equally important to know how to work the floor and the music in front, gyrating and pulsating, oh Lord, to the music in front of the customers who line who lined the stage. I was a champion in both areas. I racked up back to back table dances where I would cuddle and caress the upper bodies of the patrons. Some were strangers, but many were regulars. I had mastered a table dance trick, which was to turn the usual position into an unexpected handstand while wrapping my legs around the man's torso. It became my signature move. I was good at what I did and was paid accordingly. One customer who paid very well exchanged numbers with me and called me one day to speak with him and a friend for a private dance session at his friend's house. This was something I did often, private dances for the Arizona Cardinals players and bachelor parties. They sent a chauffeur to fetch me from the mall. I walked up to the brand new two-story home, which stood directly in the center of a welcoming cold day sack. I rang the doorbell. I could feel in my stomach how nervous I was about who would be answering the door. I could feel in my stomach how nervous I was about who would be answering the door. Okay, sorry. I really wasn't in the mood, but there was a lot of money at stake, which was always my motivation. The door opened, and there stood Cool G Rap, an old school rapper. I didn't know who he was. I only knew his name because that's how he was introduced. I wasn't that into rap and had never heard any of his music, and his face was not familiar. My first impression was that he was unattractive. I could barely stand to look at him, but he was charming and funny, and within no time made me feel very comfortable. I cannot recall a lot of what happened that night, but I do know I never did dance for him. There was something about Cool G Rap, or G, as I started calling him, that made me feel protected. It may have been his 280-pound frame or the reassuring bass in his voice. I'm not sure what it was or if it was anything at all, but I stayed the night. He was 27 at the time. Little did he know I was only 17. Oh, shit. Oh my God. Child, the very next morning, I was awakened by the sound of his booming voice, laced with his trademark lifts, like me. Hey, what's your name again? He asked me. My eyes were barely open, and I could hardly remember who or where I was. I gave him the name I had been using as a dancer, Yazette Santiago, since I was 16. It seemed plausible because I had the state ID, the social security card, and the W 2s to prove it, and they all stated that I was 21 years old. Once I got myself together, I realized that G was on the phone with an airline booking ticket to New York for later that night for us. You're staying with me, he said. You're going to be my wife, though our union would not be legal because I was a minor and not truthfully Yazette Santiago. From that day on, I was his wife in every way. But there was something else he wanted. He begged me, even ordered me to call him daddy. I'm sorry. I refuse. um, she said, I refused over and over again. I was strong then. I had been on my own for a while, making my own money. It was difficult for me to let anyone tell me what to do, and even more difficult for me to give someone a title of authority. But somehow, some way, I finally broke down and said it. Oh, Coco, you're here. Let me know if you want to go into six. And shit, I might, because I'm okay. It's getting hot in here. But somehow, some way, I finally broke down and said it. It drove him wild. Once we hit New York, we found ourselves at his manager Chuck's Upper East Side Manhattan apartment making love. It was the dead of winter and the room was ice cold. The sounds of the city swirled below, the blaring horns of taxicabs and the ear piercing whistles of people trying to catch them. There was a heavy snow on the ground, and I could hear the tires of the cars below grinding into it. I missed this city, and there was nothing sweeter than having sex in it. Just as he was close to an orgasm, I yelled out, "Fuck me, daddy." And the look in his eyes told it all. He was hooked. 2 weeks later, we 2 weeks later, we were back in Arizona. We lived in a posh new neighborhood in a 2,500 square foot, 4-bedroom house on about an acre of land. The first and second stories were connected by a grand spiraling staircase, and the house was blessed with skylights throughout. It wasn't a, I'm so sorry, it wasn't as large as the mansions I had become accustomed to while dating and sometimes living with professional athletes, but it was beautiful. I was beginning to become used to Coco girl. I I was beginning to become used to my new home and all of the rules that G insisted upon. He had a definite way of doing things, and most importantly, a definite way that he wanted me to do things. We bumped heads almost immediately. I can't, I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can do it. Coco, first of all, sorry. First of all, the grammar, we all make mistakes. Lord knows I do, but it was just like, girl, and she sold so many books, and it's still like popping as of today. When I read it, I had like I was young, so it was just like, who the fuck is Coogee Rap? You know what I'm saying? So now, even though I'm gonna be like going back and be like, because I'm, a young buck. Before it was just like I didn't care, but now I do. You get what I'm saying? And it's going to get deeper and deeper and deeper. I just remembered, but just reading this, and I was like really a young buck, unexperienced, still unexperienced. But now I don't know. I laugh at everything. Just forget it. Anyway, I'm just tickled. The first time G hit me, oh my God, he beating her. The first time G hit me, I should have left him. He had been on the phone with another woman. While he spoke on the handset downstairs. Oh God, handset is headset. Coco, please. The stories are very blunt, but God damn it. I've made mistakes as these, but she sold so many copies, and I'm just like so surprised. Anyway, girl, she came up because it had to take about like $5 to shout out to okay. It says handset. But Coco, did you notice when I was reading, like I was changing certain I cannot you were doing the same thing? Stop. Okay, back to the story. I'm sorry, guys. I'm getting super silly. You know what that means. I'm tired. While he spoke on the headset downstairs, I went upstairs and unplugged the bass from the wall. I found his behavior disrespectful and had had enough. It wasn't the first time I caught him talking to other women. Sometimes he talked to them all day and he didn't seem to care if I knew or not. He'll be on the phone for hours on end with woman after woman without saying a word to me. Yet I was expected to cook 4 times a day, clean the entire house, and do the laundry. On the day I disconnected his call, I heard his heavy footsteps storming up the staircase. I had a smirk on my face, expecting a bit of confrontation and a quick resolve, but that is not what he had in mind. As I sat on the edge of the bed, waiting for the argument, which I was sure I would win, he entered the room from my right, stood directly in front of me, and with his left hand slapped me off the bed and onto the floor. It hadn't been the first time I had been hit from my mother, two boyfriends in high school, and even a recent boyfriend before I met G. As a matter of fact, I had come to expect it. So there we were. I was the wife of a man who insisted I call him daddy, who chastised me as if he were my real daddy, who gave me the rules and boundaries I'd longed for and the order and responsibility I had been lacking, all the while ruling over me with an iron fist, literally. From that first slap to the face, I was subservient, which was just the way he wanted me. I should have left. I should have grabbed my things and headed out of the door. After all, I barely knew him and had been on my own before, but I was tired of running. I had nowhere else to go. My father had already told me that I could never come back to his house. That was the rule for all of his children. Once you're out, you may never come back, no matter what. I didn't want to be a stripper anymore. I'd grown tired of the late nights and walking men and had been desperate for a way out. Way out. G gave me that out. He gave me a home, and soon his family became my family. His sister and brother became my own, and I spoke to his mother, who I began to call mom every day. I hadn't spoken to my own mother in years. Admittedly, I stayed with G for all the wrong reasons, and our relationship would only go from bad to worse. G did, however, shower me with gifts and trips during the first few months of our relationship. I was only a teenager and hadn't learned a lot about the finer things in life. While I had been around some of the wealthiest men in the city, I was still very much a tomboy. Since high school, I had been dressing in oversized boys' clothes. Yay! Sorry, I had to add that. And never left home wearing anything buds, sneakers, and toting a backpack. I was not as worldly as I would have liked to believe I was. And G was the first to open that door for me. He taught me about perfumes and purses, changing my habit of wearing his cologne to having the best of Chanel and Versace pure perfumes and switching my dirty backpack with the latest Dooney and Burke and Coach bags. He educated me on the cut, color, and clarity of diamonds and the most precious of stones. We ate well every day: lobster tails, colossal shrimp, and the choicest cuts of beef and lamb. We drank Cristal, champagne, with our orange juice in the morning and all throughout the day. I was made to ditch my oversized jeans and tees for dresses and skirts and symbols. G taught me a lot about being a woman, but he taught me to be an unsure and abused one too. Amid all of the perks of being with one of the most renowned pioneers of rap were a number of disadvantages and dangers. I was not allowed to wear makeup and was not allowed to do anything too drastic to my hair. All of my dresses and skirts, though feminine, had to be loose fitting and past my knee. I was also not allowed to talk to anyone of my friends on the phone. And if I did, he would become angry and even jealous because I was giving attention to someone other than him. The beatings continued and worsened as time went on. Once I prepared a lunch of shrimp and linguine, linguine, child, and made the horrible mistake of leaving the tails on the shrimp. In my mind, that's the way they have had always been served to me in restaurants, and I saw no harm in it, offering the shrimp to him in this manner, along with a knife to remove the tails. I served G his favorite dish and proudly retreated to the kitchen with a slight smile on my face. The rule was to always serve him first and then go back and serve myself. But as I loaded pasta onto my plate, G let out one of his many taunts to which I had become so accustomed. Yo, what the fuck is the matter with you? Who the fuck leaves tails on fucking shrimp? He ordered me to cut the tails off the shrimp and remake his plate. Trembling and praying that I would do it right this time, I scraped the unused portion of his lunch back into the pot and began to remove the tails from the shrimp before re-serving him on a new plate. I was sure that I had gotten it right this time and would be spared his wrath. Again, he yelled and called me stupid and worthless. I didn't understand. I had done, excuse me, I had done what he asked. As I stood in the kitchen clutching my nervous stomach, he rose from his seat and walked towards me with his plate in hand. He rested his plate next to me on the counter with his right hand, and just soon as he did, he slapped me with his left. Stupid fucking bitch. Oh, God. Who the fuck? Like my whole body. Oh, who the fuck? Like my whole body just jerked. Like who the fuck? I don't give a fuck who this nigga is. Like what? You got me fucked up. What? Anywho, I be all when I read, like I picture myself there, and it's just no way. It's like no fork there to like stab him in his fucking eye. Are you crazy? Listen, we would have had like a abusive relationship. He would have been fucking me up. I would have been fucking him up. What? He would have been calling me names. I would have been calling him calling him names. We would have just been like outlaws. But like, no, who the fuck you? What? I would have stabbed them. I surely would, but I would have like sewed them back up. The fuck? Anyway, what the fuck is wrong with you? He screamed over me as I picked myself up off the floor. You didn't grab his. I would have stabbed him in his kneecap. He would have fell too. We would have been together on the floor. Bonnie and Clyde, like both fucked up. Excuse me? I still didn't understand, not even after he explained. When he received the first plate, for some reason, he hadn't seen the tails on the shrimp before he began eating them. Once he noticed the scaly crunchy in his mouth, he spit the food back onto the plate. When I went to make him a fresh plate, I had scraped the food from his plate into the pot to keep it warm. While I picked all the shrimp out, I'm so sorry. When I picked all the shrimp out to remove their tails, I then reserved him the same linguine and the shrimp he had spit out. Any simple mistake would set him off. It didn't take much. So we're going to just leave that right there. Hmm. Okay, I'm just going to read a little bit. Okay. This is chapter 6. We're just going to read like a paragraph. Okay. Because I just want to know. All right. So, chapter 6, the beginning of the end. Within the first 4 months of my relationship with G, I had lost 40 pounds and weighed a pitiful 96 pounds. Bitch, I'm 96 pounds in my ass. What are you doing? In my thighs and ass. Girl. The stress of the physical and verbal abuse had taken a toll on my body and spirit. G called me skinny and ugly and had no problem telling me how unattractive I was to him. Who the fuck? Who the fuck is this man? I'm not going to read anymore, guys. But that was chapter 5. I just read, okay, I didn't read the whole paragraph. G called me skinny and ugly, had no problem telling me how unattractive I was to him since the weight loss. Life at our house was torture. It was it was common to see me with bruises up and down my body. Bitch, and he was regular? His ex-girlfriend would come by the house, and even though she hated me, she sometimes cried at the sight of my emaciated, bruised, and swollen body. Still, I protected him. Bitch. We would have been both fucked up. We would have been both fucked up, y'all. I can't stop reading. On one occasion, we were playing a video game in the living room. He was sitting on one couch and I was on the other. During the game, he began to call me a stupid bitch. G had a, y'all, this is Cool G Red. G had a way of looking at me with disgust that turned my stomach, and sometimes I would just throw up at the outset of an argument. He gave me the look, and at that moment, I tried to be brave and fight back. I wanted to be tough, just as he had been to me. I wanted to let him know that I, too, was a force to be reckoned with, but all I could do was throw the game controller at him. It landed lightly on his lap, but it wouldn't have mattered if it hadn't hit him at all. That I showed any kind of mutiny was reason enough for him for what had happened next. I'm sorry, guys. Within seconds, he rose from his seat and punched me in my right eye. It must have been a kidney punch, the type that boxers receive, because my body crumbled to the floor. I was unable to stretch out. My organs had shut down and I couldn't breathe. I was suffocating. And if he had hit me one more time, I feared I would die. I tried to speak, but I couldn't. I was barely able to say the words, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Hmm. I can't breathe. Hmm. Sorry, my conspiracy theory side was kicking in there. All of a sudden, as he stood over me with his balled fist, his anger turned to fright. He picked my stiff body up off the floor and tried to administer CPR, then opened the front door and began to yell into the street for help. I couldn't, I could hear him screaming, "Oh my God, help me." And in my waning consciousness, waning consciousness, I began to feel sorry for him and less concerned about me. One of our neighbors was a nurse and she administered CPR. The ambulance arrived a few minutes later. Once I arrived at the hospital, the nurses and doctors asked me how I had cracked my ribs. G answered for me. She was running and tripped over the chair. When the nurse was alone with me, she inspected my bruised side. I knew she did not believe G's version of what happened, especially because there was no evidence of an imprint of his. I'm so sorry. There was evidence of an imprint of his fizz, but I backed up his story. I protected my daddy. It was as if I suffered from a case of Stockholm syndrome during, oh shit, during which the hostage somehow becomes enamored with the captor and even begins to identify with the captor as a defense mechanism born out of fear of violence. Even the smallest acts of kindness by the captor are magnified. These symptoms occur after tremendous emotional and often physical duress. This behavior is considered a common survival strategy for victims of interpersonal abuse and has been observed in battered spouses and abused children. Though I needed to get out of this dangerous, extremely unhealthy relationship, I sided with G and returned to the house. So I'm going to leave it right there, guys. So we ended in the middle of chapter 6. So I'll change this title to 5 and 6 and half of 6. Okay. Um, and then we're going to come and read some more tomorrow. And I'm supposed to go live on um, kids with silver teeth. I'm still going to do that live stream because I'm like obsessed with explaining to people what's wrong with them. But then probably later on and tomorrow, let's see. Mm-mm. So yeah, we could stop it right there when she went back home from the hospital. And I'm gonna stalk Coogee Rap. Okay. Am I gonna go live tomorrow? Child, I be like, you'll understand. Like, I come alive in the afternoon. We have to see, guys. I'm just gonna leave that. Should I take it down? I don't know. All right, so I don't know if I'm gonna be live tomorrow. Did you hear me snorkel? Oh my god. Listen, I get sleepy and I did you hear me snorkel? Oh my god, I'm so cute. But anyway, and it wasn't like the fake snorkel like these dickheads be doing, especially that dickhead that tried to sneak shade me. My snorkel, I was a real. I'm so adorable. So I don't think that I'm gonna come on tomorrow. Promise you. I'm not. But I'm going to come on to read the rest of 6, but like at nighttime. I'm not going to do that live tomorrow. So just forget it. Forget I talked about it. And just to sum up, kids with, okay, I'm saying this as I'm going to my studio to take it down. Kids with silver teeth are automatically deemed as ADHD. Okay. ADHD, ADD, HD, TV, they're automatically diagnosed with that. As soon as they walk in the door with those teeth, it's nowhere around it. They're going to be diagnosed with something. Please stop leaving bottles and sippy cups in the. I'm going to save this stream for later. I am because I'm going to put it on private. Oh, no, I can't because I didn't make it yet. Okay. So what I'll do is, oh, I really feel led to. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, guys, I'm gonna save the stream for October the 9th, which is a Sunday. Yeah, let's do that. I'm gonna save it for October the 9th because I'm very serious. They are automatically diagnosed with mental problems. You are setting your children up. Stop allowing them to sleep with the bottles in their mouth, specifically juice with sugar, because it causes them to later down the line to be diagnosed with ADHD. So I'm going to talk to you guys. 4 is my favorite number. So I'm scheduling I'm going to set it for 2:15 because no, I'm going to leave it at 4:15. 4:15 p.m. October 9th, I rescheduled that live stream because I feel led. I think it's the Holy Spirit. So I'm going to listen to tell you guys to don't allow them to fall asleep with Kool-Aid, all of that stuff. They have Capri Suns. Capri Suns is good, but it's important that our kids brush. Okay, so I'm getting into Sunday's live stream. I'm very serious. And if your child has silver teeth, then instead of blocking me, you guys unsub every show. And I'm not sorry. Okay. Yeah, I'm not. Bye. Um, if your child has silver teeth, I can almost guarantee you that your child was diagnosed with ADHD. And if not, prove it. I will be dropping the link on October 9th. If your child has silver teeth and is brilliant, prove it to me. I'll leave YouTube. I don't need a picture of your kid because I don't do well with them. Do you understand? They're annoying. Just take a picture of your child's teeth. Then, after you take a picture, I want you to send the report card and make sure the last name better match, and including a class picture. There is no silver teeth straight A students. Not one. Not fucking one. I don't care where you are in the world. There is no such thing as a silver tooth honor roll student. So just unsubscribe. Feel bad for yourself because you should. When kids are asleep, first of all, they aren't supposed to lay down. They like it though. They fall asleep. But it's your job to take the bottle. Do you understand? The Kool-Aid sits on the fucking teeth. I'm not gonna because I'm getting fired up here, and I'm getting fired up. I won't stop speaking about this. Hopefully, it will cause you parents to think about what you did. You are the reason that child is diagnosed with ADD. The sugar sat on the teeth And when a sippy cup or a bottle, what happens with a bottle? It leaks. It doesn't matter if it says it doesn't leak. It's a lie. It leaks just a little drop, like like a faucet that don't go off deep, deep. So that's going through their body all night long while you're out popping perks, smoking weed, out there fucking Tom, Dick, and Harry. The Kool-Aid just beep, 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 all on the teeth and the throat and all through. And that's all that sugar. This is why they twitch and stuff. We're going to talk about it. You won't find a silver tooth honor roll student. And anybody in this community who takes a picture and posts it on a community tab of a kid with silver teeth, email me. I don't care if I like them, email me. You're automatically going to have silver teeth discernment, and you will know automatically that child is on medication. Okay, guys. I'll see you guys on. I'm not saying that I'm not going to come live tomorrow. I'm just saying that silver teeth thing is for October the 9th. I don't know if I'm going to go live tomorrow. I might not feel like it. But if I do, sue-woo, sue-woo. It's going to be content. Okay? We're not going back to where we came from. Looking back is like looking back to when we were in slavery, held captive. Give us free. That's what I'm saying tonight. Leave me alone. Give me freedom so I could do my content and talk to the people that sponsor my shows, that donate to me, who love me. I don't have to talk to these people. I don't want them here. I don't want them around me. Do you understand what my skin does when certain people say my name? I don't think you guys know how serious I am. I hate some of these motherfuckers so much that when they say my name, it feels like spiders crawl. I just want them to leave me alone. That's it. I just want to be here with my little people. Have you noticed that? And this is the last thing I'm going to say. It's just I'm venting. I should be allowed to vent to you people. Huh? You people come here and I have to supply entertainment. I have to do all of this stuff. And even though my Cash App goes ring-a-ding-a-ding, and that's a good thing. Never, ever stop doing that. Please. Then I'm going to I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to punish you somehow. But then I can't say that because it'll be a cult. But then cult leaders, cult people bring money. So maybe I will turn this. I wonder if I ask for $50 to send you a hum. I'm going to put a hum, my voice, in a box. And if I put it in a box, and ship it out for $50. And that hum, it'll be, you just put it to your ear and you'll hear, and when you hear that, you'll be healed. Then that will be, they can flag me probably for that. It's a scam like the other channel. But it will be legit scam because I'm really selling hums. That's impossible. We can't do that. Come up with another one. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and log out. Maybe I'll come tomorrow. Maybe I won't. The key thing is when I do come, I'm going to bring content. We are behind on the Joan Rivers story. Okay. I have to catch up. You know what? I might come live just to do an hour on, do an hour on Joan Rivers, catch up with that. And then I think I'm caught up with everything else. Oh, Netflix Blonde. Oh, so much to talk about. Okay, guys. Ta-ta.
Benjamin's baby. Tall boy. Yeah. Benjamin's baby. Yeah. Benjamin's baby. Yeah. Benjamin's baby. Shot callers.